Hey, I'm Dave Rubin. Welcome to the Rubin Report. And this week we have a meaty show for you. We got info, we got facts. There is a lot going on in the world. You know, sometimes they say it's a slow news week, slow news day. Not this week. A lot happening, and I got two great guests for you. First off, comedy legend. Can I call you comedy legend? Will you accept it, Miss Elayne Boosler?
In the Bigfoot manner?
Yes, whatever manner.
Yes, in the Loch Ness Monster spirit, I will accept the legend.
Comedy legend, Elayne Boosler, one of my favorite ladies. And TYT legend, I can call you that, can I not?
Definitely.
I'll
take it.
The Bigfoot way, the news anchor way. Anyway, Anna Kasparian.
Yay! I love doing this show, so I'm excited. And I've heard a lot about you, so I'm very excited about hosting with you.
Well, same here.
I keep saying hosting. I keep going into that habit, but guesting with you.
Guesting, or we can switch spots. We'll do a little round robin kind of thing. We can each take a topic and see what happens.
It'd be like, tennis. We'll just rotate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. All right. Well, this is YouTube, so we got to get to it fast. All right. So,
me too.
As I said, this has been a big news week, and today's just Monday. Craziness is happening. So the DOJ, the Department of Justice, it has come out that they have obtained 2 months of phone records from the AP, that is the Associated Press, and people are going bonkers. And by the time we get this to you tomorrow, we may have a whole set of new facts, so we're going to talk about it in a kind of wide-ranging way. But basically, they took these records without anyone knowing. Now it's coming out that maybe some of the higher-ups did know, and the AP released a statement about it. Let's take a look at that. This is from the AP President and CEO Gary Pruitt. He said, there can be no possible justification for such an overbroad collection of telephone communications of the Associated Press and its reporters. These records potentially reveal communications with confidential sources across all of the news gathering activities undertaken by the AP during a 2-month period, provide a roadmap to the AP's news gathering operations, and disclose information about the AP's activities and operations that the government has no conceivable right to know. Okay, pretty heavy stuff, but you're laughing already.
Well, I can't wait to hear some lighthearted humor about this, because it's something that really, of course, rubs me the wrong way as a member of the press. You know, you don't want to know that the government, or you don't want to hear that the government can come in and just take 2 months worth of records from journalists and reporters. Now, from what we're hearing at this point is that it has to do with a March 2012 article that was written about the CIA finding out about an Al-Qaeda plot to attack the U.S. with an airline, right? So they were able to figure it out and make sure that that terrorist attack never went through, which sounds like pretty good coverage of our CIA, right?
All that sounds good, but doesn't get to the heart of the problem, does it?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't get to the heart of the problem, which is probably the reason why they want to get access to the records and figure out who the sources are. Why is it that the AP had sources? Who was the source? And what other type of information is that source sharing with media outlets?
So whether they're doing something good or not, should the government be allowed?
Of course not. And if you remember, after 9/11, they were supposedly listening for chatter on, alleged people on lists, but it turned out they were listening to everyone. They were listening to Tom Cruise make love to his fiancée, and they were outside of buildings listening to celebrities. So this shouldn't be so outrageous for people as a new thing. It's not a new thing, and people are outraged now because it's them. They're the people who used to report on it, but now it's them.
Well done, Elayne Boosler. You got to my second point. That is the part that's driving me crazy about this, because although I think this is horrific and the government shouldn't be spying on us as citizens, much less the reporters and that whole thing, the media is outraged now because it's the media.
Of course.
Because just last week it was shown that the Department of Justice has already said without warrants they can go into our emails, into our chats, and our Facebooks. So in a way, though, is this possibly good? Because finally the media is going, oh, well, you can't come and step on us, so.
Well, it's only good if they can back them off. I don't think that anything's going to back them off. I mean, people say, leave Bush alone. I'm still blaming Reagan for things. So it's still current to me, George Bush. But, you elected, not you, but certain folks elected a government who had no feelings about privacy and nothing was sacred and overstepped in every possible direction. This is the stepchild of it. This is the upshot, and this is what we're left with. And if people don't start voting better, this is what what we're going to have.
Yeah.
And I would kill someone if I found out they were eavesdropping on me. You know, embarrassing. How many nights did she order pizza out? This woman, does she ever cook? Chinese pizza? This woman has never cooked. She has a $5,000 stove. This is disgusting. She's a horrible person.
It's more about the shame that you live with.
Shame.
Right, a lot of people, you think it's about like naked pictures.
No, it's the food, and I'm always ordering extra soda, so we'll think that it's not just me alone eating all that.
Oh my God.
It's terrible. How many pairs of chopsticks? Well, if you have to ask, I better say 4.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
I don't want them listening to my damn phone calls.
No,
Plus freedom's at stake. Yeah, there, I
That's
said
an
that.
excellent point. That's
you.
an excellent point. And also keep in mind that the media was really what pushed the narrative after 9/11 about how it's important for the government to have access to certain records, and it's important for the government to do certain things that might violate our privacy because it's in the name of national security. So now, as you mentioned, it was a really great point. Yeah, the tables turn, and they can't handle it.
It could only come to this. I mean, it was the original statement, you know, he who gives up a little bit of security, a little bit of privacy for a little bit of security deserves neither. And now we have a lot more than losing a little bit of privacy and a little bit of security.
Do you guys fear that because obviously the media and us that are on the progressive side of this thing, we like, let's say, Obama more than we like, let's say, Bush, that there's this inherent feeling that we should go easy on him?
No, not at all.
Okay,
not at
good.
all.
I'm glad.
No, how dare they?
When it comes to civil liberties, I mean, Obama's record has been just as bad, if not worse, than Bush's.
Can you say drones?
Yeah, drone strikes, signature strikes, where you don't even know if you're targeting the right person, but you still do it anyway. And then when you do double taps, where you do a drone strike and then you have, you know, the first responders show up and then you drone them. I mean, come on. Obama has been horrible when it comes to civil liberties, kill lists, lack of transparency. I think that we should criticize
trials
him.
and being able to kill American citizens if they're declared an enemy of the country, and they're American citizens. Due process is due process.
Right.
You're next. You cannot stand for this, and it has to change.
Yeah. And he re-signed the Patriot Act, which, as you said,
led to all this.
Right, and yet somehow there's a feeling like, oh, that's Bush's fault, all Bush's fault.
Well, so's Guantanamo, but it's Obama's baby now, and he was supposed to close it.
Yeah.
You know, there's too much going on that's wrong, and you know, look, I'd always rather have Obama than the other side in there for so many social reasons.
Yeah.
But he's not, you know, the great savior. There's a lot that's wrong, and people need to speak up. It's never over.
And that's the really difficult thing about Obama. You know, he is great when it comes to social issues. You want to support him because of the fact that he did come out in support of gay marriage, and you know, he isn't anti-choice, and all of that is really important, but our national security is also very important, and the way that he's been handling it, I think, puts us at more risk because it's creating hostility toward the U.S.
Right, where they didn't expect it. At least they expected it from Bush, but they didn't expect it.
I saw a great point made that if they went after the Boston terrorists the way they go after terrorists in Pakistan with a drone strike, 500 people around in the grandstands of the marathon would have been killed also, and we would have said, as we always do, well, you know, that's collateral damage, but we got the guys we needed to get. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
So speaking of unacceptable, my final point on this, I was watching CNN today, and Wolf Blitzer, who I've become just merciless with this guy because he is a robot sitting in a giant computerized room. He said that, you know, to take the other side of this, what if the government was tracking Al-Qaeda and then, quote, or whoever? That's what he said. Al-Qaeda or whoever. And
you mean like an Avon lady?
Right, exactly. Elayne Boosler crossing Broadway.
Me ordering pizza, you know, or your mom.
Right, but doesn't this kind of...
or whoever. That's pretty broad.
Yeah, but doesn't this show like how dumb... Like that's what I'm afraid what's going to happen here is that because the media dumbs everything down to the point where or whoever, who's whoever?
Everybody else. Which brings us back to the point we all agree on. No.
Yeah. Can't do this stuff.
Bonobos is the official outfitter of the Rubin Report. I want to put you in this shirt. Go to bonobos.com, enter code TRR20 for 20% off your first purchase.